Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is shaving a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In the sprawling sun-washed Forrester mansion, where celebrations, affairs, betrayals, and wars of the heart had echoed for decades, an unnatural stillness settled over the halls as the family gathered, not for a fashion preview or a scandal summit, but because Eric Forrester himself had demanded it with an urgency none of them had ever heard before. An urgency that compelled Ridge, Brooke, Steffi, Thomas, RJ, Hope, Zen, Carter, Donna, and even family members who rarely shared the same room to hurry home without question. They walked in expecting tension, drama, maybe another round of father-son clashing. But what they found instead was Eric seated in his favorite chair by the fireplace. His posture regal as ever, yet carrying a weight in his eyes that froze everyone where they stood. He looked older in that moment, wise, reflective, almost fragile beneath the strength he'd carried for decades. And beside him stood a man most of them barely noticed anymore. John, the loyal Forrester International consultant, quiet, dependable, always in the shadows oft-here glamorous world. Few knew him well. Fewer questioned him. He had simply always been there. But today, Eric asked him to stay. No insisted. And that alone sent murmurs rippling silently across the room. Because Eric never insisted on anything unless it mattered, unless it cut straight to the core of the family's legacy. Donna clutched Eric's hand, sensing a tray more in him she had never felt before, and whispered his name. But he gave her a small shake of his head, a signal that they needed to speak uninterrupted. Ridge stepped forward first, his leadership instinct rising, asking if this was about his health, if something had to keen a turn, if they needed to call the doctors right now. But Eric simply lifted a hand, silencing even the son, who had always believed he was closest to him. "This isn't about what you think," Eric said, voice steady, but carrying a gravity that made even Thomas stop shifting. Made Steffi swallow hard, that made Hope step closer to Brooke as if bracing for another earth-shattering family confession. "This is about all office, about something I should have told you long ago. Something I've carried too long," and instantly everyone stiffened because anytime Eric spoke of secrets, the family tree trembled. Memories of hidden sons, false affairs, buried betrayals. These walls had hurt everything. Yet somehow this felt different, deeper, older. Donna squeezed his arm again, but Eric stared into the fire as if searching for strength in its flickering glow before finally revealing what none of them had ever expected to hear. "There is a truth I kept from this family for decades. A truth about the Forresters, about our legacy, about who belongs to this family, and who has been living a life built on a lie." Gas broke out, but he didn't pause. "It cold. Not now. You all know John," Eric continued, gesturing toward the man standing awkwardly near the mantel, shoulders tense, eyes lowered. "You've seen him at the company for years, steady, loyal, quiet. Some of you barely speak to him. Some of you never wondered why he was always close to me. Why I trusted him in ways I didn't even trust me own blood at times." Ridge's brows knit, confusion twisting into unease. Thomas exchanged glances with thinned. Steffi folded her arms tightly, bracing herself for impact. "That's because Jonas not just an employee," Eric said, voice soft yet detonating like a bomb in the room. "He's my son." Every jaw dropped, every breath stopped. Brooke covered her mouth as Ridge stumbled backward as if hit because his entire identity, his entire relationship with his father had just been shaken to the core. "Your son," Ridged, forcing out the words like they tasted wrong. "Dad, what are you talking about? You have us. You have me. Thorne. Felicia. Kristen. Why are you saying this now? Why didn't you tell us?" Eric inhaled shakily, Donna rubbing small circles onto his back. Ash continued, "John is older than you, Rich. Long before Stephanie. Long before Forrester Creations. Long before this family existed the way you know it." That sentence sliced through Ridge's composure like a blade. Stephanie, his mother, had been the foundation of Eric's life for decades. Hearing that someone else came before her, someone connected to a hidden child, was like rewriting the entire origin story of the Forrester Empire. But Eric wasn't finished. "John was born from a relationship I kept secret," he confessed. A relationship that was complicated, painful, and when circumstances forced us apart, I made a choice I regret every single day of my life. I let fear dictate my actions. I let him grow up without his father's name, without his rightful place in this family. I forced him into the shadows. John finally looked up, eyes glassy but controlled. The calm restraint of a man who had spent his entire life swallowing emotions for the sake of others. And then Eric revealed the part that struck the room silent in a new, darker way. He came to the company years ago because I brought him in secretly because I wanted to protect him because he was dealing with an illness that made it hard for him to continue in the career he once had. The room shifted again, sympathy mixing with confusion. But Eric kept going, voice trembling ever so slightly. John didn't retire because he wanted to. He didn't step back because he was tired. He stepped back because he discovered a long-term private medical issue that he has faced quietly, bravely, and without once asking this family for anything. The family exchanged stunned, softened looks. Ridge lowered his head, guilt washing over him for every time he brushed past John without acknowledgement. Steffi blinked hard, her breath caught in her chest. Hope touched Brooke's arm, sensing her shock. But Eric wasn't done. Not even close. His condition is serious. Eric continued carefully. But he asked me from the beginning to keep it private, to let him live his life without becoming another Forrester headline. And I honored that, but it meant hiding who he was. Hiding who I am, hiding the brother you all never knew you had. Ridge stared at John, emotions swirling, anger, confusion, betrayal, but also something unexpected, a dawning sense of loss for the years they never had. Donna wiped a tear, whispering, "Oh, Eric." But Eric raised his chin, suddenly fierce. "I will not hide him anymore. Not when the years ahead aren't promised. Not when every family truth we've uncovered,